All right, in the previous video we talked about using the crayon watercolors to paint. And so in this video we're going to just do a quick refresher on that, and then we're going to talk about using pens to add a zentangle design. So just as a review, we want to be careful with these. They're kind of expensive, but they're also very good to use, and so we want to keep them around for quite a while. We're not applying very much of this, so we're just going to put a little bit along the line. Purple is a very dark color, so I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit here along the edge. And you notice I'm going in a pattern of pink, purple, blue, pink, and then in this one I'm green, yellow, orange, green. It's really up to you what you want to do. So at the end of class, you should have them all in the container like this. If one gets broken, then we just expect to have the two pieces together. So just like that. All right, so once you have the paint on, or excuse me, the crayon on, we're going to turn it into paint by just dipping the paintbrush in. And then we're going to do that. I know yesterday or in the previous video I was talking about wiggle, 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 because what I'm doing when I say wiggle, wiggle is I'm just basically running little circles along this crayon and loosening it up. And once we get that done, we're just going to pull it towards or away from the line towards the previous color so that it gets lighter and lighter. Turn your paper as needed, and again, this is what we did yesterday. What I would like to see you do is to finish all of your painted areas, or get them all painted, I should say. And then once you get done, you're going to have some that are dry and ready to move on to the next step. Like these were all done previously, so they're dry. Nice thing about this crayon paint is it's also very easy to clean up. It's going to take quite a bit to really muddle the water, so I can actually just wash my brush out, pinch it gently, swipe test, and it comes out clean. So let's just pretend that all of this is painted, which it's not, but we're going to pretend. And so then it comes time to use a pen, and we're going to be using black pens, nothing fancy. There's an assortment that's going to be available for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose a pen. And I also have some handouts on different zentangle ideas. Zentangle is just a series of patterns, kind of like doodling. And so I've got some front and back on this. I even have a little small piece. You do not have to use these. They're just kind of there as examples to brainstorm from and get some ideas from. So each of these parts in your section is going to be a different pattern. You can use lines or you can use shapes. And as I get to this little small, here let me move to, no, I'm going to use this one. This one's kind of small, so I'm going to do a smaller pattern here. And again, a line or a shape. So I'm going to go ahead and do circles within this green one. And there's really no need to outline your parts because we've already done that by drawing the dark watercolor and then having it fade. So I'm going to do this circle shape throughout this entire little green section. It's an easy one to do in such a small area. Then I want to come up with something fun and creative to do in this yellow section. It has to be different than circles. So I could do a particular type of line. Maybe I even want to say, you know what, I'm going to do some stripes, but it's going to be boring to keep it just a simple stripe. So I'm going to do a stripe or a line, and then a broken line, and then a line, and two broken lines, a line, maybe two broken. So again, here it's getting bigger, and I can go 1, 2, 3, one solid one, 1, 2, 3. You can see my pattern here, one solid one. And then it just gets a little bit bigger for a while until now it's going to get smaller. Okay, so that's a pattern right there. And I would do the whole yellow section. Okay, so then I get to the orange, and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to do this pattern. This is one of my favorites. And what it is a series of 3 or 4 lines. So I'm going to start at the top, very similar here, but it's going to change. I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to change and go vertical, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then in this corner I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. All right, then I'm going to go back to the 1, 2, 3. So I'm changing the direction. So 1, 2, 3, and then my diagonals. So that just it's kind of a neat pattern that once you get all done, you could look at it and say, hey, that's pretty cool. So maybe in this one, I'm going to pick kind of a center point and say, okay, I'm going to have a pattern where they all meet. And you get the idea, all right? And so maybe then here it's going to become the V shape going down. And if you feel like you make a mistake, well, then just make it a part of your design. That's kind of the nice thing about this, is you just work with it. All right, so you notice so far I've done all different patterns. I really want to encourage you to come up with some different ideas throughout each one. We should not see every single one with just stripes. You want to challenge yourself, and boy, amongst all of these different ideas, wow, you didn't see that, did you? Sorry, that was off the thing. So that's what I was working on, talking, and you didn't see. So amongst these and this side, you've got a whole lot of ideas that you can work from. And then looking at this example, the nice thing about this one is not only did she use a variety of patterns, but she went in and she filled in some of her shapes and some of her stripes and lines just to really add some contrast. So I may at a certain point say, you know what, I like what I have here, but maybe I need to darken some areas just to really emphasize and bring them out. But this is what we're working on today, is just finishing up the painting and then beginning on the dry ones with a black pen to add all these different patterns. And that is the end of this video.